Greetings, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg. Thanks for joining me today. It is Saturday. What does the calendar say over there? The 13th. I've been gone for a couple weeks. I think I've told you September and October are my really busy months at work, and I have been really underwater with just work and my book reviewing. I'm doing some new collaborations. In the work realm, things have just really taken off, and I'm very happy about that. Like with many of you, I've just been kind of trying to take care of my mental health, what with everything going on in the world. So, and I don't want to add to the noise. So I'm just going to talk about books today because I think a lot of you are here for some escape, and you want to just talk about history, talk about books, whether it's history, nonfiction, or if I like to show a lot of fiction on this channel too, because I'm receiving a lot of fiction and I'm reading more too for my book reviewing. Typically, mostly still historical fiction, but I do have a little, a heart spot for mysteries, thrillers, and recently horror, because if you look at the calendar, it's September, and I've got a big bonanza of a Halloween Reads Recommends video coming up soon to show you some of the brand new titles coming out on the horror side. I've read a few of them already. I'll be reviewing two of them for shelf awareness. I've already filed those reviews actually. Yeah, I've got a stack here on the floor. It's going to be just for a Halloween video. So if you like horror novels and you just stumbled upon my channel, just hit a notification bell, and so you'll get alerted to when that video drops. Anyhow, so today I wanted it to be more of a cause for celebration, but this is my 500th video, guys. Woo! Confetti. Let me see if I can add some stuff in post-production. My 500th video. Geez, do I have any reflections on my time? I've never really done Q&As or anything like that. I don't know if you guys need or want that. I know other people do it, so I'll ask the question, are you guys interested in that? I've always said, if you have a question for me, just drop it down in the comments below. But I don't know. Is that something you guys want? I'm not like a celebrity, so I don't know why that would be intriguing to anyone. But anyway, this is my 500th video. I wish it was under a happier time in our country. But I'm happy to be on BookTube. I'm happy to have found a community of people who actively read, who love reading, who love books, who love learning, because we constantly must continue to educate ourselves. I really think that we have an education issue in this country, and I'm not saying you need to go to a 4-year university. I'm not saying that at all, because I've never really and while I have a college degree, I'm not like a master's degree, or don't PhD, none of that. But I think the fact of we have libraries, we have books that are free for people to access. I've always felt if you have a library card and a willingness, a hunger to learn, you can be an autodidact, man. You can educate yourself. And history is one of the greatest teachers. So I would just urge any non-reader that happened to stumble upon this video, give it a try. Give it a try. Give it a try towards, learning something you didn't know yesterday, and make it a goal to learn something new every day. And reading is the best way. It connects you with different thoughts, different ideas from other people from around the world. In the case of nonfiction, it should be giving you ostensibly, it should be giving you objective facts, and you can trace trends in history. And it is the greatest teacher. There's so much to learn from the past. All right, well, having said all that, this is my 500th video. Can't believe it. I think I began in, was it 20, oh my gosh, was it 2019? 6 years. I think I've been on YouTube 6 years. So, wow. What can I say? I'm excited, but also just kind of, not as excited as I normally would be. I'm a little somber, a little, worried. But anyway, we are going to press ahead with these books. So I just wanted to say I've got a couple of book hauls, really, and this is something I've been meaning to film for a while. These are books I have acquired over the last several months. I'm going to say even back into January. Books that I've just bought, even though I was not supposed to be book buying. But there were different sales and different times of the year, and some of these were just downright steals, and some were books I've been wanting for a while for my own library. So let's hop into those now. I got another video planned, so you're going to see a big stack of books over here, but we're not going through all of those. Well, maybe we are. The books you can't see are not. Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot of books to go through. So these are, but I've separated the books I've bought from in batches of like nonfiction, history, essays, political science stuff, and fiction. So this one's my nine. I have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A little bit more than that. Books, nonfiction books I've gotten over the last several months. So here we go. Gosh, I don't make a video for 2 weeks or whatever it is, and I'm really rusty. So excuse my flubbing my lines and everything else. Let's start with a Civil War book, shall we? I definitely was wanting this when I saw it. It came out earlier. Was it this year? No? Oh my God, how late am I on this? Anyway, this is The Iron Dice of Battle, Albert Sidney Johnston and the Civil War in the West by Timothy B. Smith. And this is put out by LSU Press. Small little volume here. I've always been intrigued by Albert Sidney Johnston just because his career was cut so short in the Civil War. He was shot and eventually died of blood loss at the Battle of Shiloh. He was considered one of the, along with Robert E. Lee, one of the better generals, more experienced generals on the Confederate side. And when he died at Shiloh, it was 1862, Jeff Davis, Confederate President Jefferson Davis, everyone felt like, they lost something even more than the battle. They lost Johnston because he was a promising commander. So let me just read to you a description. I won't be able to read all the descriptions. I've got so many books I picked up, but let me just give you a little bit here. Killed in action at the bloody Battle of Shiloh, Confederate General Albert Sidney Johnston stands as the highest-ranking American military officer to die in combat. His unexpected demise had cascading negative consequences for the South's war effort, as his absence created a void in adequate leadership in the years that followed. In The Iron Dice of Battle, noted Civil War historian Timothy B. Smith re-examines Johnston's life and death, offering remarkable insights into this often contradictory figure. Let's see here. The first work to survey the general's career in detail in nearly 60 years, this book builds on recent scholarship to provide a new and incisive assessment of Johnston's life, his Confederate command, and the effect his death had on the course of the Civil War in the West. And here's our author. Thank you, Mr. Smith. I'm looking forward to reading this because I haven't actually read a biography on Albert Sidney Johnston. Geez, I'm going to go back 20 years or so. So it's been a while since I've just read a book on this guy right here. So wanted to share that with you. Oh, yes. Let me clue you guys in on something I've discovered. For those of you who still order from Amazon and enjoy ordering from Amazon, I wanted to tell you. Yale University Press. Now, you guys know if you're a regular viewer of this program, I love University Press titles, especially when it comes to history. They just knock it out the park. when Yale University decides that they need to cull their inventory, they mark their books down, not all of them, but a selection. They mark them down, and sometimes those prices are reflected on Amazon, and sometimes as high as 80% off. And I'm talking print, not Kindle, not ebooks and stuff. I'm talking about print, hardcovers. This stack here, I got these for less than $10, and probably in some cases, like we're talking 5 or 6 or even lower than that. For some weird reason, they just will mark down these random Yale titles. In a future book haul, yes, because I had to do another order, guys. They were so ridiculously low. We're talking big studies on topics I'm interested in. Hardcover books for $6, $7, $8, maybe even lower than that. It varies. Like there's a book right now. Oh no, that was with a Christian publisher. But anyway, if you were to go to Amazon and type in Yale University Press, and you do need to do some scrolling, you could also filter by price. You're going to find some really cheap hardcover prices, and these might still be available for those cheaper prices. They vary a little bit. They go up, they go down, but they're still really cheap. So this is from Yale University Press, and I picked this up earlier this year, called Homelands, Personal History of Europe by Timothy Garton Ash. Beautiful, brand new book. And it doesn't even have a remainder remark, but I got it for dirt cheap. Let's see here. So this book is an extraordinary journey in time and space around the post-war continent, drawing on Timothy Garton Ash's own notes from many great events, giving vivid first-hand accounts of its leading actors, revisiting the places where its history was made, and recalling its triumphs and tragedies through their imprint on the present. Garton Ash offers an account of events as seen from the ground. History illustrated by memoir. Okay, so it's a mix of history and memoir. He describes how Europe emerged from wartime devastation to rebuild, to triumph with the fall of the Berlin Wall, to democratize and unite, and then to falter. It is a singular history of a period of unprecedented progress, along with a clear-eyed account of how so much went wrong. From the pen of someone who, in spite of Brexit, emphatically describes himself as an English European. This is both a tour de horizon and a tour de force. Okay, French words I don't like. So Timothy Garton Ash, yeah. What else has he written? Because his name sounds very familiar. The File. And here's our guy here, Timothy Garton Ash. So a mixture, a memoir and history, and I thought this would be an interesting read to kind of go along with my other books on contemporary European history in the 20th century, early 21st century. This just sounds so intriguing. Another Yale title that I got for cheap, Tudor Children by Nicholas Orme. Look at that. Yale University Press, and it's the first history of childhood in Tudor England. In this beautifully illustrated and characteristically lively account, leading historian Nicholas Orme provides a rich survey of childhood in the Tudor period. Beginning with birth and infancy, he explores all aspects of children's experiences, including the games they played, such as blind man's buff and mumble the peg, that's me some days, and the songs they sang, like Three Blind Mice and Jack Boy, Ho Boy. Well, he shows how social status determined everything from the food children ate and the clothes they wore to the education they received and the work they undertook. Although childhood and adolescence could be challenging and even hazardous, it was also, as Nicholas Orme shows, a treasured time of learning and development. By looking at the lives of Tudor children, we can gain a richer understanding of the era as a whole. So something different. I haven't read a history of children in a while, and beautiful color. What do you call it? Like illustrations of illuminated manuscripts. So a mixture of black and white. Let me see if I can find some more there. Just a beautiful little book. I think I got it for like $4 or $5. I don't know why it was so markedly marked down, but it was. So look at that. Beautiful book. So I picked that up as well on my little Yale shopping trip. Another book. Now this is the second in this biography. So I'm still looking for the first, and I want it in hardcover. It's easily available in softcover, but I really want it in hardcover to match this one. But this is the second volume in Ronald Hutton's biography of Oliver Cromwell. So this is Oliver Cromwell, Commander-in-Chief. Bigger, a little beefier read. This is on the heels of the making of Oliver Cromwell. Again, I'm trying to look for a new used copy for the first volume, because this is the second volume in the acclaimed biography, which takes us from the capture of Charles I to Oliver Cromwell's seizure of supreme power. Ronald Hutton traces Cromwell's career from 1647 through the next 7 years. This decisive period saw the execution of Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth of England, as well as notoriously savage campaigns in Ireland and Scotland. Cromwell's political and military leadership were well honed after years of practice, but this was also the time of his greatest ruthlessness and brutality. In revealing a different kind of Cromwell, Hutton provides a new understanding of how he was able to navigate the many forces ranged against him and rise to the pinnacle of his power. So it sounds like it's very sympathetic towards Cromwell. We'll find out. My partner is Irish, and she has told me that, you don't speak the name Cromwell in Dublin. It's no laughing matter. Actually, they despise him because of the depredations he did. He enacted upon the Irish people. So that's why I want to start with the first volume. But it was so marked down. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what's wrong with this book? Nothing. It's brand new. So I'm gonna get the first volume, and I'm gonna tuck into this hopefully in 2026. The rest of my year is pretty much booked with big reading projects, but I wanted to show you that one. Let's see. So that kind of knocks out the Yale titles got one more. I lied. All right, little slim volume here. I picked up Why Empires Fall, Rome, America, and the Future of the West by Peter Heather and John Rapley. Let's see here. Over the last 3 centuries, the West rose to dominate the planet. Then, around the start of the new millennium, history took a dramatic turn. Faced with economic stagnation and internal political division, the West has found itself in rapid decline compared to the global periphery it had previously colonized. This is not the first time we have seen such a rise and fall. The Roman Empire followed a similar arc from dizzying power to disintegration. Historian Peter Heather and political economist John Rapley explore the uncanny parallels and productive differences between ancient Rome and the modern West, moving beyond the tropes of invading barbarians and civilizational decay to unearth new lessons. From 399 to 1999, they argue, through the unfolding of parallel underlying imperial life cycles, both empires sowed the seeds of their own destruction. Has the era of Western global domination indeed reached its end? Heather and Rapley contemplate what comes next. So I figured a very timely and important read. A slim read, about 167 pages. So that was the other Yale book I picked up in that particular book shopping experience. Now, where did I find this? And I finally got the dang thing. I wanted this book. I have it in ebook. I have it on my Kindle, but I need print. Especially, I read a lot now for reviewing books on PDFs and reading them on my Kindle. Sometimes, other types of formats on an e-reader. And, my eyes have just been taking a hit lately. In fact, I have going to the eye doctor next Tuesday to think I might need a stronger prescription on my glasses. But I find that print is easier on my eyes as long as I'm in a well-lit area. And this is one I've been meaning to start and just take my time with and enjoy. And this is the War Memoirs of Charles de Gaulle in this, just, I love the cover too. I love the French flag colors, kind of half and half there. Big, beefy read, I should say. And then, I mean, this is the stuff you can't get with an ebook. I just, you get the nice big full black and white photo on the back, and I love print. What can I say? Yeah, these are his memoirs, and I wanted them. So what can we say about him here? Originally published in 3 volumes, the War Memoirs of Charles de Gaulle is the story of the resurrection of France from its darkest hour, collaborating with Hitler and the Nazi Empire. The first section, The Call to Honor, examines the years leading up to France's defeat and the confusion and despair triggered by Hitler's blitzkrieg. The second section, Unity, describes de Gaulle's struggles to rally the French in both Africa and underground movements throughout Europe, and his often bitter conflicts with the Allied leaders as he sought legitimacy and resources. Salvation, the final installment, chronicles the turning of the tide of war against Nazi Germany, de Gaulle's triumphant return to France, and the reincarnation of the French Republic as a major international presence. De Gaulle's great prophecy of 1940 had been fulfilled. France had lost a battle, but she did not lose the war. So, yeah, and this is a good book for March of the Mammoths, including the index. We're at 963 pages, readable text, still over 900 pages. So, really just happy that I was finally able to get my hands on a new copy. And the publisher, Simon & Schuster. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys I was finally able to get that one. It's been on my wish list for a while. All right, what else do I got here? Let's go with this one next. Super cheap. I decided to get the soft cover of this. I tried ordering it was one of my I usually have good experience with thrift books, with buying used books, but this one I bought used on thrift books. It arrived and it was not in like new condition. It was falling apart. It was all, the cover was ripped up. So I got my refund back on that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it new once it goes on sale, and it did. So now I've got Prairie Fires, The American Dreams of Laura Ingalls Wilder by Carolyn Fraser, with the nifty stamp on the front saying winner of the Pulitzer Prize. So I figured that would be nice to have. One of the 10 best books in 2017 of the New York Times Book Review. Been kind of wanting to dig into Laura Ingalls Wilder. I have another book I want to show you coming up for a University of Nebraska Press new release. They just released another book about Laura Ingalls Wilder. So, but I've been hearing that this one is just stellar. And it's a nice beefy read. This would be a fun buddy read to do with someone if anyone is interested. But yeah, let's see. Millions of readers of Little House on the Prairie, which I grew up with, and I loved Little House on the Prairie. I loved the books and I loved the show. Loved it. So millions of readers believe they know Laura Ingalls, the pioneer girl who survived blizzards and near starvation on the Great Plains, and the woman who wrote the famous autobiographical books. But the true saga of her life has never been fully told. Now, drawing on unpublished manuscripts, letters, and diaries, and as well as land and financial records, Carolyn Fraser masterfully fills in the gaps in Wilder's biography, revealing the grown-up story behind the most influential childhood epic of pioneer life. Spanning nearly a century of epical change from the Indian Wars to the Dust Bowl, Wilder's dramatic life provides a unique perspective on American history and our national mythology of self-reliance. With fresh insights and new discoveries, Prairie Fires reveals the complex woman whose classic stories grip us to this day. So yeah, I just couldn't resist. It was probably marked down to like $10 or $13 maybe. And it's normally, this would be a $22 biography. So, and I probably had a gift card too, but anyway, I'm thrifty. I'm always I'm looking for the sales, and that's how I'm able to do what I do and to pick up the books I do. But whoop, my cross is a little crooked. All right. So Prairie Fires, this is from Picador Books. So I was happy to pick that one up as well. Oh, I also picked up the slim volume because I've heard everyone talking about it. Now, I didn't know it was in such a little tiny pamphlet form, but this is On Tyranny, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century by Timothy Snyder, who wrote Bloodlands. I've watched lots of his lectures on YouTube. He's fascinating. He's learned, erudite. He knows of what he speaks and writes. And so I know a lot of people have been raving about this little pamphlet, so I wanted to pick it up. It's from Crown Publishing. And yeah, these are like these little, I don't know if this is part of like a little series, but this book is only like 126 pages of really just very, I mean, you can read this in one sitting. This came out in 2017. Yeah, just a little pamphlet. It doesn't really have much to say about it. It just kind of goes into history and tyranny and gives you the 20 lessons. You know, let's see what some of these lessons are. Do not obey in advance. Be wary of paramilitaries. Be kind to our language. That would be good. Contribute to good causes. Listen for dangerous words. I'm kind of hopping around on the chapters. Be a patriot. And you know, that's interesting too, because you know, when you say that, for some people it's triggering because it might make you think of, when I was growing up, a patriot was someone who just proud to be an American. You know, you had your flag, but it wasn't like your end all be all. It was just a part of your existence. I'm an American citizen, and I'm a patriot. I like to celebrate the 4th of July and have my flag out with my neighbors, and you know. Now that word has taken on some dark meanings sometimes, and it's just associated with dark things, and it's upsetting to me. You know, sharing a little bit more about myself with any of you out there who don't know this about me, or if you're new to the channel, you know, I hesitate to say my age. You know, a woman's not supposed to give away her age, right? But I was born in the early 70s. Okay, so you do the math. So kind of coming of age in the 80s, early 90s and stuff, and never thought, having grown up reading Civil War and just ingesting those lessons, never thought I'd be in this position, or any of us would be in this position in 2025, that we would need to read a book like this to look for some tips. But I kind of already know. I'm not going to share my own thoughts on that because it's just, I'm not going to turn this into a political thing, but all I'm going to say is go back and study and read history, and especially go back and start reading like 1930s Germany, and go from there and see if you can make some connections. Anyway, so I picked up On Tyranny from Timothy Snyder. I'm looking forward to getting into that. I'll show you this book because it's of a piece with the two of the other books I bought earlier this year. Let me see if I can get to them. I know I've got a lot going on here, guys. I think I showed you this one last time. This is The Violent Take It by Force, the Christian movement that is threatening our democracy. And as you can see, I am a Christian. I do not relate with Christian nationalism. And for that person who gets angry every time that I mention I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. I'm going to say it again. I don't care. This is my channel. I'm going to say what I want. This is the other book in that kind of recent deluge of books about the evangelical Christian movement that seems to be aligning itself more with politics than with the gospel. And this is the other one I want to read, The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory, American Evangelicals in an Age of Extremism by Tim Alberta. And this is put out by Harper. So, what was I going to say? Oh, it's in the other room because I'm reading it right now. I'm working on The Judas Effect by Amy Hawke, and trying to schedule an interview with her before before I get deep into October, because I'll be traveling and I won't have a lot of time, but I really want to touch on this topic. But the kingdom, the power, and the glory, I wanted to check out. I won't go too much into I won't read the full description. It goes into a lot of, kind of deep detail that I think you can garner the message from this. We have an issue with politics invading the church, which is supposed to belong to God, and that's what I'm saying. I'm only about God here, folks. I'm only about staying on the side of Jesus, loving my neighbor, welcoming the stranger, praying for my enemies, which is just anathema to so many people. But that's what Jesus calls us to do. It's a radical love. It's a supernatural kind of love that human beings can't attain, but we try. We try to model the example of our Lord. So, but anyway, the work that people like Amy Hawke and others are doing to just remind and warn other Christians to check what you're believing in. Look at what you might be worshiping right now that isn't God. I think it's important. I think it's important work, and these are important books to open up your mind and just be a critical thinker. You don't have to have blinders on because you're a person of faith. You still have reasoning faculties. You know what I'm saying? And you can read the tea leaves, as it were, and just realize that there's God. What is it Tolstoy said? God sees the truth, but waits. And I've been kind of really meditating on that thought for a couple months now. I've been really just thinking about that. God will not wait forever. So all I'm saying is, if you purport to be a person of faith and that you love people, better start showing it. Better start showing it. Better start acting like it. Because God's not going to wait forever. All right. I'm sure that's going to garner some some angry outbursts, but I don't see how that could be upsetting when I'm just talking about what Jesus said. Take it up with Jesus if you don't like it. All right. Okay, what's the next one I want to show? These are nonfiction. Oh, yeah. All right, let's just have two more, kind of contemporary, maybe more controversial books. Let's get them out of the way. I picked up Douglas Murray's latest book because I had read him in the past, and I enjoyed, what was his first one? The Strange Death of Europe. I really enjoyed that one. Then he came out with The Madness of Crowds and The War on the West, and I have those on my shelf. But this is his most recent one, and from Broadside Books, and I picked up On Democracies and Death Cults, Israel and the Future of Civilization. Now, this is certainly now kind of even dated now. Things aren't looking too good on the Israel side, but I haven't been following that news as closely just because our own country's on fire. So I don't, like I said, I wish I had more time to follow. Actually, I don't. I don't want to follow all of these horrible things happening in the world. It's too utterly gutting and depressing, and it's disheartening beyond all belief. But anyway, I just was like, well, at the time, and I bought this many, many months ago, I was like, yeah, let me just check out what Douglas Murray is going on about here. I might need to kind of do I have so many ideas, and I need to have these ideas written down on like a video idea notebook to follow up on. It'd be interesting if I just kind of reread his previous books and then had a video about all four of them as a body of work and what I drew from it. Just need more time in the day, but I'm going to write down all my ideas, because even if it takes me years to get to them, I mean, you might find them interesting, right? I don't know. It could take me years. It could take me months. It just depends. But anyway, I picked up his latest book. I won't go into much detail on that. This one, I heard about this book on a podcast. And I think this one is going to probably blow my mind. I've already kind of dipped into the intro, editor's introduction, and it's definitely some heady intellectual writing, but also I don't know if it's going down a rabbit hole, but we're going to check it out. From Red Pill Press, guys, and this is under the genre of psychology/politics. Look at this. Look at this. Political ponerology. Political ponerology, the science of evil, psychopathy, and the origins of totalitarianism. You know that's right up my alley. I've studied so much on totalitarianism and totalitarian societies and states that I wanted to check this one out. It just intrigued me. This is by Andrew Lobachevsky. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, being another ski ending. It's Lobachevsky. Forward by Michael Rechtenwald. So, and this is a new edition that has been extensively revised and expanded. Oh, and it's been translated. Translation has been improved and annotated with the latest supporting research examples and new material previously unavailable in English. It doesn't mention the translator. Here we go. Nope. Yeah, this is the revised and expanded edition that came out in 2022. So we've got a preface to the first edition, forward by Michael Rechtenwald, editor's introduction. So the reason why, okay, so now I'm remembering why I picked this up. The first manuscript of this book was thrown into the fire just minutes before a secret police raid in communist Poland. As soon as I read that, I'm like, what? What? This book was? I might need to read it. The second copy was personally delivered to a contact inside the Vatican, only to mysteriously vanish. The third was pieced together in 1980s New York by the last surviving member of an underground research team, only to be banned from publication until now. Forged in the crucible of totalitarianism, Political Ponerology is written by psychiatrist Dr. Andrew M. Lobachevsky, who draws on his experience and clinical insight during the decades he spent under the crushing heel of the Nazi and communist regimes. Decades ahead of its time and brimming with unique insights and depth of vision, Political Ponerology explores a genus of highly adapted and charming psychopaths who bend political parties, institutions, and media to their depraved worldview, dividing and hypnotizing entire populations, and paving a virtuous path to genocide, mass repression, and gulags. From the darkness of past regimes, Political Ponerology brings you the keys to understanding and protecting yourself from today's spellbinding ideologues and tomorrow's dictators. So I figured that was pretty much on my reading list for this year. It's so heavy and dark right now, and I'm just trying to, keep. I'm not going to read it right now. I want to say, read it at Christmas time. No. Let me really ruin Christmas for everybody. No. But I do want to start reading this. I think I just need to start reading this. And I encourage a lot of you out there to check this out. It's not cheap. I bought this one with a Barnes & Noble gift card. But again, this is the fact that this was written in communist Poland, and then it has taken forever to come out. I want to check it out, and I wanted you guys to know about it too. So one of my fairly recent purchases, but I wanted to let you know about that. I missed another Yale book that was severely marked down. Well, anyway, I picked up The Return of the Taliban, Afghanistan After the Americans Left by Hassan Abbas. This one I think is still available on Amazon from Yale University Press. It's really marked down if you're interested. I've always been, ever since we left Afghanistan under Biden, I have been wondering, okay, so what's happening there now? And this book is an answer to that. It says here, the first account of the new Taliban, uncovering who they are and what they want. This book came out in 2023. Okay. Oh, and Hassan Abbas, the author, has dedicated this book because that's who I feel for the most, for the women of Afghanistan. I just remember hearing about not only just the horrific images of the last plane leaving Saigon, as it were, or leaving the airfield in Afghanistan, hearing about it later that all the schools that young girls were going to shut down. They're thrown back into the 5th century again. Women are. This is something I've learned through history and just the brilliant the writing and the chronicling of things within the country from women who live under oppressive regimes. There's a way to kind of know if a society is how do I want to say advanced, is actually what you want to call like a liberal, or not liberal as in politics, like left and right and all this kind of stuff. The level of advancement of a society by how they treat their women. And I think that is a rule that covers every country, every gathering, every band within the entire globe. How groups treat their women says something about their level of development, intellectual development, cultural development, where they're at and their stages of progress. And this is just horrible for women. And I don't know why some people are born into where they are born. And I don't want to say that I was blessed, because I don't really believe that, God picks out, I'm going to bless you, but not you. And I don't believe that. I think it just happens. But I am so grateful that I was not born into a society where I am just chattel. I am just there to birth babies, treated like an animal on the farm. So I feel for these women. I do, and I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I wanted to learn what happened after we left. I know I'm kind of going into some personal commentary here. But anyway, since the fall of Kabul in 2021, the Taliban have effective control of Afghanistan, a scenario few Western commentators anticipated. But after a bitter 20-year war against the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, reestablishing control is a complex procedure. What is the Taliban strategy now that they have returned to power? In this groundbreaking new account, Hassan Abbas examines the resurgent Taliban as ruptures between moderates and the hardliners in power continue to widen. The group is now facing debilitating threats, from humanitarian crises to the Islamic State in Khorasan, but also engaging on the world stage, particularly with China and Central Asian states, making considered use of sources and contacts in the region and offering profiles of major Taliban leaders. This book is the essential account of the movement as it develops and consolidates its grip on Afghanistan. So again, this came out just a couple of years ago. This is probably our most recent journalistic reportage effort to kind of peel back the curtain and see what's going on in Afghanistan. So wanted to bring that to your attention as well. And this book here, I don't know, it was severely marked down. And I don't know why, but I was like, I don't know. I picked it up on a whim, guys. I don't know who this guy is, but I thought, well, this could be interesting. It's a little bit of Indian political history. This is Ambedkar in London by William Gould, Santosh Das, and Christoph Schafferlot, editors. This is from Hearst Publishing, which is a UK publisher. Just a brand new, well, it's separated. When did it come out? 2022. And this is an exploration of the international context for Ambedkar's ideas around caste, law, religion, democracy, and race, as developed while studying in the imperial capital. Okay, so who are we talking about here? Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. He lived from 1891 to 1956, was one of India's greatest intellectuals and social reformers. His political ideas continue to inspire and mobilize some of the world's poorest and most socially disadvantaged in India and the global Indian diaspora. Ambedkar's thought on labor, legal rights, women's rights, education, caste, political representation, and the economy are international in importance. This book explores his lesser-known period of London-based study and publication during the early 1920s, which is also interest to me. I love the 20s time frame in Europe, the intellectual ferment. So I was keen to kind of just get a glimpse of that through this. And also I just love learning about new people I've never heard of before. Just learning about people who may have had an impact on world, political thinking that I'm not aware of. Let's see here. Ambedkar's global intellectual significance. Okay. Did I not finish this? Okay. Studies his lesser-known period of London-based study and publication during the early 20s, presenting that experience as a lens for thinking about Ambedkar's global intellectual significance. Some of his later canon on caste and Dalit. Dalits were the untouchables, or are, in the Indian caste system. They're not just known as untouchables, they're called Dalits, D-A-L-I-T. Anyway, so some of his later canon on caste and Dalit rights and representation was rooted in and shaped by his earlier work around the economy, governments, labor, and representation during his time as a law student and as a doctoral candidate at the London School of Economics. The Indian diaspora in the UK is the country's single largest national minority. This volume connects Ambedkar's influence during his lifetime and his legacy today to this early phase of his career and intellectual life in London and its immediate aftermath. It contains new material on the establishment of the city's Ambedkar Museum, explores Britain's Ambedkarite movement, and charged the campaign to outlaw caste discrimination in the UK. So, yeah, I just wanted to try something new, and I'd never heard of this gentleman, and I think the book was like $3 or $4. So, I picked that up. All right, guys, so those are some of my nonfiction pickups. Like a nonfiction book haul, but I wanted to share those with you. Get them on your radar. Some of them are very timely. Some of them are just evergreen. They can instruct you in whatever time that you may live in. If you're watching this video 10 or 15 years from now, who knows? But anyway, guys, thanks for joining me again here on the History Shelf. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Send a comment, do a like, whatever you can. I appreciate it. Just trying to broaden the reach and love of history. It's not so much about me and my channel as much about I love hearing from people who will pick up a book because they watched my video and they loved reading something about history. You don't even know how much I get a thrill from that. When you guys tell me, I saw this book, you were talking about it, I read it, oh my gosh, and now I get it. And now I want to read everything on the topic. That is what I do here. That is what I live for on this channel. My love of history is I want for those of you out there who are just, waiting to have that little prick, that little, like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know I liked history, but now I do. And now I'm going to learn. That just, you see how I'm just energized I'm getting? It's because of that. This is why I do what I do. Please tell me in the comments below, for the occasion of my 500th video, have you had that experience at any time on my channel? Have I encouraged you to read a certain area? Did you branch out into Civil War because, you came here for World War II, or vice versa? What have I done anything to encourage you to learn more about history, international history, global history, U.S. history, biography? Please tell me in the comments below. And then tell me too, if there's things that you would like. I know you guys want bookshelf tours. Now that I have a GoPro camera, I can do them. I might get a harness or something or put it on my head so I don't have to be on camera. I can just kind of go. I don't have to worry about placing a camera here and there, and I can just go through. I know you guys want bookshelf tours, but besides that, what else would you like to do? I'm trying to bring you author interviews. I've got another one scheduled next Friday. Very excited. For both nonfiction authors and fiction writers. So what else can I do? What else would you like to see? I'm trying to make time to follow up on books that I've told you. Although I do write reviews, and I keep trying to remind folks who people in comments are like, well, do you do book reviews? I'm like, that's all. Well, I do written book reviews, and you need to follow my social media accounts because I will post them there. On this channel, I kind of give you previews of books that are coming. I will tell you about books I'm currently reading, and sometimes I will give you some feedback on books I finished reading. But mostly, I do written book reviews, guys. I am a freelance book reviewer, and I typically will review up to about 8 to 10 books a month for different publications and online entities. So I'm at 50 minutes, so I need to wrap this up. But what I'm trying to say is for this video, if you will just comment below and let me know if I've helped you with anything. Have I given you just some great books to read? And if that's all, then hey, I'm happy for that too. But let me know, and let me know what I can do better, or if you have an idea that you think would just be really fun, let me know, because I want to keep growing this channel and doing new things. So having said that, thanks for hanging around. I'll be back soon. I'll probably do my next, I'll show you some of the new fiction titles I've picked up as well, guys. So in the meantime, I hope you're having a good weekend. Take care of each other. Be kind. Let Lincoln be our guide here. Let the better angels of our nature win out. Let's start listening to them, okay? I love all of you. Take care.